I want to transition now. Former Prince Andrew, of course, just one of many powerful people facing new scrutiny for associations with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and his co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell. We've seen legal action, firings, and resignations across industries and across the world. You can see it here from charges against the former Prime Minister of Norway to Bill Gates backing out of a high-profile international speech to the former White House counsel to Obama resigning from her role at Goldman Sachs. Now, Andrew's arrest is giving survivors of Epstein's abuse renewed hope that more accountability could be on the horizon. Here to discuss all of this is NBC News legal analyst Misty Marris. Misty, when you look at all the figures here and the consequences they're facing, will they face criminal charges, or are the statute of limitations here sort of passed in some of these cases?
Well, if we listen to Todd Blanche, she said that the result of reviewing all of the Epstein files and all the documents that are now publicly available is not at this point leading to any further criminal prosecutions. Now, that's at odds a bit with what Pam Bondi had actually said recently before Congress and back in November of last year, that investigations were being open. So one of the things that I've been looking for, and actually this was a huge question mark by some lawmakers about what documents have actually been held back with the Epstein files. So, there's individuals who are identified as potential co-conspirators by the FBI. And some documents are in this bucket called deliberative process privilege. Those are the documents that would say why prosecutors elected not to charge them at the time they were pursuing Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell. Those are currently shielded, and that's in violation of the law, according to members of Congress. So will we see that and have more insight as to why we haven't already seen charges possibly coming down the road?
Les Wexner, former CEO of Victoria's Secret, right? He was the first big fish Epstein is sort of linked to, that he worked closely with. Epstein, I think at one point called him a close friend. We have some of his deposition of what he told Congress, and I think we have a soundbite we want to play. Let's play it for our viewers here.
And I really want this whole group to understand it. And I never would have guessed I was being conned. Never, ever. The deceit was so subtle.
Okay, a little hard to understand what he was trying to say there. Multiple members of Congress told NBC News they don't believe that Wexler was ignorant to Epstein's crimes. Is he in trouble here? I mean, could he be held to account in some way?
Well, Tom, he's actually one of the individuals that in FBI documents that have now been unsealed, his name was recently unredacted to be identified as what was called at one point a co-conspirator. So certainly if prosecutors determined that there was enough evidence to pursue charges against him as a co-conspirator in what Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were involved in, which is a sex trafficking operation, there's certainly the ability, depending on timing, to bring those types of charges. But again, it seems, according to Todd Blanche, that that is not something that prosecutors at the DOJ are contemplating right now. Will that change if there's more information? It certainly could.
Prince Andrew, or former Prince Andrew, I know you're not an expert in the laws in UK, but what is the sense of at least the legal community? Could he see prison time?
He certainly could. So there's a couple of threshold issues here, because this is about his, as a public official, did he engage in misconduct? And what we saw in the Epstein files are some communications between him and Epstein relating to things in his official capacity, business, trade deals. So is that in the UK, that could be the basis for this type of charge. Now, there's a question mark. This is common law. So the law that he's being could potentially be prosecuted under, if prosecutors go so far as to formalize these charges, has a question mark about who qualifies as a public official. So we have a threshold legal question there. It's not a statute. It's developed over years and years and years of decisions by the court. So there's a few issues, but I think what was said before, prosecutors are going to be looking at this now and determining whether or not there's enough evidence to actually pursue those charges. This is a suspicion. It's an arrest. It's not formalized
But
yet.
you got to think, if they went after the king's brother, they must have some type of plan.
Yes.
Not just to arrest him and then let him go.
And Tom, and so I'd say, the jumping off point, you see these communications with Epstein were their communications with others. And we know that searches have been conducted on 2 of his properties.
Okay. Misty, we thank you so much. Always great having you.